What's going on, guys? This is Chandler Smith, and I'm so pumped about this video because this last week I got asked to speak at Dan Fleyshman's elevator night. Now, there were some absolutely incredible people there. I learned so much, and so in this video, I'm gonna share some of my answers to Dan's questions and then some of my favorite answers from a bunch of other entrepreneurs that were there. So with all of that being said, let's jump into it.
So I've been throwing these events for free all around the country for the last decade. It's always gonna be free. And the concept for it is getting really smart people together that like to invest, people like to start companies, people are interested in raising capital for their company, entrepreneurs, meeting investors, and then listening to really smart people in their local community about the things that they know about. All right, if we could give your 60-second bio.
Yeah, so my name's Chandler David Smith. I started in door-to-door sales at Aptive. So my sales force did about 26 million in sales in a 4-month summer this last year. Over the last 10 years of working at Aptive, I've kind of found a passion for investing in real estate. So I own about 160 units of rental real estate. Through that whole journey, I thought it was a good idea to start a YouTube channel.
For someone sitting in the crowd, the difference between rental properties or going out there trying to flip properties, buying something for 200K to get it, sell it for 280, versus buying something for 200K and getting 1,200 bucks a month for years.
Yeah, so I think a lot of times people group them into the same thing, but the reality is, unless you have all of the systems in place and someone else is running their show with flipping, that's like a job. Where investing in real estate, it truly is passive income. Now, I love looking at deals. Once you buy the first rental property, it's intoxicating. And I think that's why people start small and they evolve into bigger and bigger properties. And then they evolve into, a syndication or a fund, because it's so fun to build an empire of purchasing rental properties. But now I lost my train of thought. Say the question one more time.
The decision between the two.
Difference, yeah, it's completely passive. And so with me, I'll go and I'll look at the deal and I'll buy it, but then you turn it over to the management company and you're getting a return on that property forever. Not only that, but when you flip a property, a lot of times you're just getting your one hit, and that's the only way you make money. Where with rental real estate, you're getting the cash flow every single month, which after your expenses go out, your rents come in, that's what you're left with. But you're also getting appreciation. We've seen crazy appreciation market the last little bit where properties are going up in value a lot. You can also force appreciation with a rental property where if you have a niche and you know what you're doing and you can add bedrooms or just increase management, you can purchase a property and just by tweaking a couple things, increase the value by millions of dollars on the appreciation side as well. You've also got major tax benefits that you can take out of it and principal pay down if you're using leverage. So not only is it not a one-time hit, but you're getting a return on your money 4 different ways year after year after year.
So Randy, why is the network, the people that are around you, so important, whether it's in real estate or investing or venture capital?
I think about the deals that I'm in, it's because of the people and the caliber of people that I'm around and really, really wicked smart people. It's the most important thing. Like on the real estate side, we work with several multi-billion-dollar family offices, and I love it. He says, one of the guys we work with says, 1, there's been 100 recessions and 100 recoveries. 2, there's, you don't lose if you don't sell. And 3, when anybody asks him what's up, he says the rent, right? So you think about it, it really is, it's like who
I
you
like that. I've never tried that one.
What's up? The rent, that's it.
So someone that's sitting out there, how did they decide for that first deal? They've saved up their money, them and their wife, or them and their husband, or them and their family, or maybe a couple of their friends want to pitch in some money together and buy that first investment property. How do they decide if they're going to go for a fourplex, a single family home, a duplex, an apartment building, a commercial property? There's so many different options. How do they decide what makes sense for them?
It's a great question. I think that is the hardest part, is the first deal, because the rest after that are very easy. And I would say that a lot of times when people are getting into investing in real estate, they're looking at everything, and that's one of the big problems. I would say that whether you're doing single family, multifamily, bigger multifamily, storage units, whatever it is, if the numbers work and you know what you're doing as far as doing a proper inspection on the property and getting those numbers to work and getting financing put together, it really doesn't matter. And so figure out what you're excited about, whether it's a duplex, a fourplex, and really lean in. Now, if you have the ability to live in a property and you're tight on funds, I push all of my sales reps to live in the first property because you can get into it for substantially lower down payment, and that can get the ball rolling. And once you get the first one, the rest just fall into place.
How do you decide what projects you look at? Because now things are getting bigger and bigger as your fund grows and the things you're investing in have to be on a bigger scale. How do you decide which things you look at?
The biggest thing that I look at whenever I talk to an entrepreneur, or I look at, dude, are we going to invest in them? I ask them one question. I say, if this doesn't work out, if this company doesn't work out, what are you going to do? And if they say, I'm going to take over my dad's company, or I'm going to go back to school, or I'm going to do this, I'm like, I'm done. I mean, I don't even tell them that, but I'm just like, thanks for coming in, appreciate it. But if that individual says, this is the only thing I want to do, this is it, I'm breaking my back to build this company, that's the guy I will invest in, and that's the companies we like to invest in. So it comes down to, that's the biggest thing is like, do they have the grit and the leadership to be able to grow it? That's what we like to invest in.
So Ryan, you've been doing bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger deals. I've been watching you on social media, like the level of the deals you're going through. What happens? What changes? Like, why does it go from going from the fourplex to the 16 unit, to the 32 unit, to 100 something units? Why does it have to evolve that way, or just buy a whole bunch more fourplexes and a whole bunch more 16 units?
A lot of people are asking, hey, how do I do a $10 million deal? Well, the answer to that is you have to be able to do the 1,000 square foot deals, the 500 square foot deals, the short-term deals, the month-to-month deals, over and over and over again. And when you do that, it doesn't automatically go up to bigger deals. What happens is you then put yourself in a situation where you get an opportunity to get a bigger deal.
How do you get people to get behind what you believe in?
So it kind of goes back to the platinum rule. It's, we've all heard the golden rule where it's like treat others how you want to be treated. The platinum rule is like treat others how they want to be treated. So the more you can find win-win for them, you're like, how do I make this win for you? Like Dan was like, how do I come to DDDCon? And I was like, hold on, let me craft some creative way to make this a win for you, whether it's you have your vendors, your cards and coins there, or we promote one of his charities, and I'm like, that'll make it a win for you, so why wouldn't you get behind promoting this?
You have this big podcast you've been working on. Why is building up a podcast important to you when doesn't do anything for you financially?
Majority of us in this room are trying to build a personal brand or a business brand, and what a lot of us are looking for is a word called influence, and influence is one of the most powerful words that exists probably on the planet. Influence is a very hard thing to get, and when I opened the podcast, it was because I did want influence, but to get real influence, you first have to have impact. Impact and influence are not the same thing. Impact is the ability to go very deep, but very narrow with people. If you would like to create influence and have massive following and actually reach a lot of people, first create impact.
How do you get people to want to work at one of your restaurants when they have thousands of restaurants to choose from?
It's tough, competitive work. It's hard, it's demanding, you're on your feet a lot. I mean, the environment itself is, you're not just checking boxes, you're hustling. For us, we've just found that if we create a sense of community and a sense of connectivity and really give voice and participation, we find that gratification from contribution and the output of that is just a fruitful byproduct of that investment. So
I think transparency is a big thing as well, especially in sales. Is being open with what the true earnings can be, not the fluff, and be willing to open up the books and show people high, low, actual expectations, and be open with the parts of the job that aren't very fun too. I mean, all of us love our jobs, but there are some aspects of it that aren't that fun sometimes. And so I think being different, events, experience is another big thing, and just finding ways to continually improve and evolve as a company. Like the second you say you're the best, someone else comes along and beats you. And so you have to always be leveling up your game.
So Kyle, today you guys had the Aptive event here in the NBA Arena. That's a big production and a lot of money and expense and time and energy. Why? Why spend so much money, time, and energy?
Experiential dining, experiential events, experiential shopping. Like people are looking for experiences, and no other company can say they had a training with Dan Fleyshman at the Vivint Arena. then a 3-on-3 tournament, and then a free entrepreneurial panel that's 3 hours long, and work for any other company. Like the job is to do what other people are doing and make it memorable.
So you have a ton of employees that are making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, and they're very young. They're in their early 20s, some of them are in their 30s. What are some things that they should be thinking about investing instead of spending so much money?
Chandler actually said this to me first many years ago, and I've kind of stolen his line. But this job, when you make this type of money, really, really young, it allows you to do things when you're 22 that you normally don't do until you're 32. And allows you to do things when you're 32 that a lot of people don't do until they're 42. Time is on your side. Use it. And certainly, our salespeople that are making a tremendous amount of money are just given this amazing blessing to speed up allowing interest to work for them, as opposed to buying, depreciating assets, which I see a ton of nice shoes in here. I hope if you've got those nice shoes, you've got a rental property as well.
All right, I'm going to ask you a more difficult question. How do you deal with firing people?
I try to let them fire themselves. So my dad, he was a successful entrepreneur, and he always was like, hey, I'm going to give you, let's say 2 weeks or a month or whatever time frame to do X, Y, Z to show me you want to still be here. And if you obviously want to have your job, do your job, you're going to do X, Y, Z, whatever that is. And whether you want to make that realistic, whatever that is, that's up to you. And let them either decide, hey, I'm going to walk out because I don't see that being realistic for me and I'm not aligned here, or they're going to try to go fight for their job. And they're going to say, I'm going to show you that I want to be here. And at that point, you kind of check in. You're like, I want you to be here. I love you. I think you're going to be a great asset. But these are the things I need you to be doing. And obviously in direct sales, I ran sales teams for years. I found there's a huge addition by subtraction. And when I would cut people, it always, I call it trim the fat. A lot of times that would help increase production from everybody else. And so a lot of times as a leader, you get so emotionally attached to people. And when we allow for subtraction, opens up space for everybody else to rise up, new people to come in that may even be more talented, but we just get so attached to the individual where the mission has to surpass, it has to be more important than the person a lot of time.
You have unlimited opportunity of products that you could choose, whether you're selling stamps and stickers and t-shirts or different types of furniture. You have so many different options. How do you choose the products that you are going to spend your money, time, and energy on or get your staff behind?
You do a lot of trial and error. I also don't generally start with a product. This is very, very backwards from most e-commerce places. I don't care what the products are. They don't actually matter. So I start with audience first, and I identify big, passionate people that are going to get behind something or need something or want something. Also have, credit cards, they'll swipe and pay for things. Once I've identified those groups of audience, I go and say, hey, what do these guys want? And that's really easy, and I can pick new product after new product after new product, and most of them don't work. I fail as fast as possible, and then every once in a while you find one, and it's like, oh, we sold all of them in the country. Now we need to find some in China and wherever else.
A lot of brands fail when they try to sell a product before they've created a community. And I think what it comes down to is what we spent the majority of the beginning of our stages doing is building a community that was rallied around something really, really important. And something that was bigger than me or my wife or the brand itself. It was bigger than everybody that was involved. And so for us, the trigger that we felt like, okay, it's time to scale, is once that community was built and once it was so passionate that those organic sales, they just started to come in and it was constant organic sales. That's when I felt like, okay, now we need to reach more people. We need to build this community bigger. And that's when it was time to scale.
You've done the same thing over and over and over and managed to build a company doing zillions of dollars in sales. How have you stayed so laser focused when so many people have the shiny object syndrome to do different things with their companies? How have you stayed so laser focused?
I think what we do is, it's funny, you're like, if I could get $1 million, I'll be set. You get to, you're like, oh shit, that was easy. And then you want 10, then you want 20. And then I always find another reason of why I want to keep going. Luckily, one of my best friends got his kids in the business, and they're freaking crushing it, right? and I got to make sure they can't touch me.
Has to deal with customers, and there's delays. How to interact with customers so that those customers don't hate them.
There's a lot of containers stuck off the coast. Be honest, because it's easy for support people, customer service, sales, to try and come up with their own explanation, their own, and if they're sales, they'll use a lot of really big, extensive conversation for it. My support is like, you literally want me to tell them their stuff is stuck in the ocean on a boat? I'm like, yep, because that's where it is. Consumers are smart enough now. We have enough transparency into what's happening all the time. You might as well just be totally transparent with them about it.
Brand is a promise. When you go to Chick-fil-A, you're promised a certain experience. Not because they promised it to you, but because that's the brand that they've built. Every major brand that you purchase items from has some sort of experience that you're gonna have, and you're gonna have, and the good brands give you the same experience over and over, if not better each time. I started building my own personal brand, and I thought, you know what? It's a lot easier for me to control myself and my own image than it is to try to get people excited about, a company that I work for. And so that's why I became passionate about my personal brand. My personal brand became, anybody who comes in contact with me, you're promised some sort of experience. Anybody and everybody, whether you feel like you need it or not, whether you're an influencer, whether you have 1 follower or 10 million followers, start building that personal brand, because that's the future. No longer are we just gonna have to put all the weight on the main house brand or whatever it is. It's gonna be individuals within that organization. That's why you've got the Steve Jobs in Apple. Steve Jobs is a brand, right? You've got to start thinking about how to make yourself memorable, and you've got to start thinking about how to make sure that everybody you come in contact with has an experience that they won't forget.
The second that I realized that people don't buy products, they buy people and brands, was the first time in reality that I started to make money. And I think anybody, if you want to be successful, really simple, stop trying to sell product and start creating a brand, whether it's a personal brand or a brand, because people are going to buy that. They're not going to buy products.
I don't want to rely on anyone else or anyone else's stages or anyone else's events. And so, like we said, if I can create a community of raving fans, those people will take care of you forever. As long as you over-deliver and you make sure the customer experience is amazing. You don't need to be a Tony Robbins or a Nick Santanastasso. You can be your own damn category king in your own world, as long as you over-deliver and nurture the people that are right in front of you. So that's why I think personal brand is important, because I don't want to rely on anyone else.
I actually went completely opposite of what everyone told me to look like. I've been doing it wrong for so long. You look like a man. Everyone told me I was doing it wrong from the very beginning, and I just kept believing in pretty much myself, because I actually liked what I was doing. I actually appreciated what my body was capable of doing. It was the first time in my life that I appreciated what my body looked like. I come from a background of very insecure body image disorders and all that growing up. So this is the first time in my life that I enjoyed my body, and here I am in this industry wanting to do something, and everyone's telling me you're wrong, you're not right, you need to get these surgeries, you need to grow your hair out. So I went the back way and somehow made a name for myself, and I think by doing that and staying true to myself is why I'm here.
Raise your hand if you have a personal brand. Okay, it's only about half the room, right? Every single human in this building has a personal brand, whether you like it or not. Doesn't matter if you have social media. You are a personal brand. It's what your neighbors think about you, your friends from high school think about you, it's what your coworkers think about you, your kids think about you, strangers think about you, people that you meet casually, the people that have been friends with you for years and years and years. All of them have a different thought of you, by the way. The decision you have to make is whether you're going to tell the story or let them tell the story for you. And so why social media works and why being active there works, and it's not that you have to post a zillion times a day, that you have to make unlimited amounts of content. It's that by posting some content about your business life, your personal life, your hobbies, your passions, your activities, it tells that story. Instead of people guessing, assuming, or having rumors about you, you're actually showcasing the things that you care about. What is so important to you about health and fitness, whether it's for your business, career, or passion?
You'll never make more than you think you're worth. You'll never make more than you think you're worth. And that's in a relationship. If you don't think you're worth the relationship, you'll get in it, self-sabotage it. Who knows what I'm talking about? Show of hands, right? If you don't think you're worth the business, You'll undervalue yourself. If you don't think you're worth the weight loss, you'll lose it and then find the weight. And so if you can create some sort of non-negotiable or a habit in your life where you just work with your body, you will have more certainty, more confidence, but most importantly, more self-worth to go do the shit that you want to do. And please don't let a man but no legs, one arm outwork you in the gym.
We run extremely lean with our businesses. We own, some stupid number, 9, 10 businesses, and we run extremely lean. There's not many of us. And so a lot of times the problems come right back to me, and I found that the easiest way to solve a problem is to change my state, move, do cardio, lift. I come out feeling extremely empowered, and just things click. I mean, steady state cardio for me, walking an hour on the treadmill, as simple as it is, that's where I come up with my best ideas.
I remember like benching for the first time and just like starting with the bar, and every week we would try to put more weights on, and it's just seeing that slow progress and creating small goals and then reaching them only makes you better and successful in the future.
Do hard things. Put yourself in really uncomfortable situations. That's why, like I said earlier, I love chaos. I love problems. I love it when the whole world is falling down, because it gives you an opportunity to see what you're really made of. And if you start putting yourself in those situations now, guys, bad times are coming. All right, flat out. We've had good times, bad times are gonna come, and it's just a matter of how prepared are you? And for me, I'm preparing myself physically, mentally, spiritually, financially, but the physical is the biggest part of that, because if I'm not well, what the hell's gonna happen to my family, my wife, my 3 kids? Like, who's gonna take care of them? This guy? He's not gonna take care of them.
Cryptocurrency, Bitcoin itself, is actually more important for billions of people around the world that don't have much money rather than the rich. Why do I say that? Most people that don't have banks or don't have access to it have to use Western Union to send money. And so oftentimes you hear those stories or see in the movies or TV shows, oh, I worked here in El Salvador and I send money back here to Mexico. That's not a story for most people. That's their real life. Billions of humans don't have a way to send money other than Western Union. Well, I don't know if you've ever used Western Union. It's really expensive. You're talking about $30 fees, $45 fees, $25 fees to send $200, $100, $300. And so the average that they're sending is just a few $100, and the fee, you're talking about $30 to $45. That changes their life. That's literally 5 to 10%, 20%, 30% of their income for the month in some cases. And so what happens when we finally get Bitcoin to be easy to send and everyone can send it easily with companies like Mobi, that changes everything for them. Because saving that $30 for the month doesn't sound like much to you, but when you're only making $400 a month or $500 a month or $600 a month, which the majority of our planet, 1 in 4 people on the planet are, you're talking about changing the whole everything.
2 billion unbanked people, they don't have access to money, but they have cell phones. And I realized that cryptocurrency could help facilitate a means of trade to these people that can actually start businesses in other countries. And for me, that was a huge market. And I saw the ability for transparency, and I saw a big need for it.
Being the person that prints money for the superpower in the world, that's a pretty damn good business model, right? Blockchain is a better way. We just sold our company for 9 figures. It took us 42 days to get our money from the banks. And the people that were behind the transaction were Goldman Sachs and JP Morgan Chase. And we had intermediate banks on their side that then went to this company's bank, that then went to the intermediate bank, that then went to the bank for our transaction, and then we had to disperse the funds to the 4 partners that were inside of our company, so it had to go to their banks. And guess what every bank does? I want to put a hold on it, I'm going to freeze it, I'm going to get my interest for a few days. When I've literally sat at Starbucks before and done 8-figure transfers between a client in Brazil and a mining manufacturing company in China at a Starbucks in 15 minutes.
Have you guys ever tried to wire money at 2:06 p.m.? You can't. You know why? Because on purpose, they don't let you send out money after 2 p.m. It's going to wait till tomorrow to go. Why does that matter? Or why would they do that? Because the tiny little millipercent that they make on holding your money for that 1 extra day, compound that by tens of millions of people trying to do the same wire after 2 p.m. every day. Tiny little percent of hundreds of billions of dollars equates to tens of millions of dollars in net extra profit just by being slow on purpose. That's why cryptocurrency is so important.
All right, guys, I hope you really enjoyed this video. If you did, remember to smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the little bell. And I'll look forward to seeing you in my future videos. Thanks, guys. Have a great day.